What's up, people? Welcome to the Say What I Mean podcast. What I mean, Shaw. Thank you for tuning in. And today I'm going to be discussing Watchmen Season 1, Episode 7, An Almost Religious Eye. Now, I was going to wait until the first season was completely over to review the series, but that episode was so crazy I couldn't wait. And I want to have more discussions on Watchmen because there are specific scenarios, specific scenes that I want to talk about and see what y'all would do in these situations, because a lot of these situations is not black and white. So I can't wait to have those discussions. But for now, on today's episode, we're going to do a recap of episode 7, a spoiler recap, so you've been warned. Let's get into it. So the episode started off with a documentary on Dr. Manhattan in Vietnam. It seemed like something PBS would do. It was exploring whether he was a hero or a conqueror. And I liked the way they did this, because if this was the real world, think about the Vietnam War. You had two sides. It was basically a civil war. And the U.S. took the side of the Southern Vietnamese. But then you had the Viet Cong and the Northern Vietnam Army that was fighting against the U.S. So if this was the real world, you would absolutely have people in Vietnam that consider him a hero because their side won. But then you will have people that would hate him because he killed some of their loved ones. And they will see him and the U.S. in general as conquerors. So I think they did a good job in portraying this. I also think you can directly compare this to the U.S. military now, because there's people that think we are in these countries for their own good, that we are helping them out. We are there for moral reasons. However, you have other people that believe we are in these countries specifically for natural resources and oil, and we just dare to exploit the situation. So you have both sides of those arguments, and I think they did a good job of portraying that. Then it transitioned into Angela when she was a 10-year-old kid in Saigon. I love the little subtleties in the show. Now, they in Vietnam because Vietnam is a state now, but they playing Living in America by James Brown. I just love when shows and movies do things like this, where everything have a purpose, where nothing is random. So I don't know if they was having Dr. Manhattan Day or it was just how things were every day there, but you had a Dr. Manhattan puppet and everything like that. But one of the things I noticed was how happy Angela was as a kid. Up to this point, it seemed like she was having a great childhood, and it was happy to see. They did great casting with the little girl they played to be Angela right there. It was great casting. Cute as a button, as they say. So it seemed like the clerk knew her. She probably been to that store 1,000 times because the clerk said, okay, are you even going to be able to watch this movie? And I'll be here when you have to take it back. Now, that specific movie, it was called Sister Night. So obviously that's how she got her name. And that was the inspiration to what she do now. I was looking it up. I was trying to see if that was a real movie. Was that a real black exploitation film? And I couldn't find it. So I think it's something that they just made up. But it looked like it could have been one of those black exploitation films back in the day. So good job with that as well. Our experiences make us. So Angela's father will read, son, stated that people with masks have something to hide. So he didn't want Angela watching this. Angela was trying to say, okay, this is just made up. And he said, okay, it's made up until it's not. And this basically plays on the strained relationship that Angela's father have with his father, Will Reeves, who was Hooded Justice. That was revealed in episode 6. So, like I said, our experiences make us, and a lot of stuff that happened to us when we was younger, we carry that into adulthood, and we can never get over that. Now, you also get to see how observant Angela was, even as a kid. Nobody else noticed the soon-to-be suicide bomber, but Angela peeped the whole scene. And it just seemed like everybody was oblivious with what's going on. But Angela was right on it, even at such a young age. So it seemed like she is meant to be doing what she's doing right now. And I think they did a good job of showing that she was kind of always this way. She was always observant. She was always smart. She was always quick to pick up on stuff. Later in the show, it showed Angela getting treated poor after her parents was killed in the suicide bombing that happened. She was an orphan, getting pulled by the ear, and you hate to see stuff like that, but that's reality as well. You see stuff like that when kids are in foster homes, when they orphans, so it's an unfortunate situation, and I'm glad that they showed that as well. And just when you think Angela would get a little bit of relief, when her grandmother arrives and picks her up and tell her that she was taking her back to Tulsa, took her to a burger joint, but she had recently had health problems. She had a heart attack, and before they can make it back to Tulsa, her grandmother died, what seemed to be of a heart attack. Now, it's crazy, and this goes into something else as well that I want to explore later. When children have a falling out with their parents, or not even, I shouldn't say children, but as an adult, when you have a falling out with your parents, should you keep your kids from knowing their grandparents? I don't think you should, as long as the situation is not too crazy. You know, there's always situations to be like, I don't want my kids around you. But if it's just a disagreement and y'all have a strained relationship, same thing for the parents. Y'all shouldn't take it out on the kids, because if a child have their grandparents, they deserve to know who they are. So that's something I want to talk about later on in a different show. But anyway, picking back up with the episode, I'm glad my man's Looking Glass is still alive. Definitely glad to see him alive. He was able to kill a bunch of 7th Cavalry, or should I call them Psychops people now. Seem to be the same group, just a different name. But they was coming after him. You saw that at the end of his episode. But yeah, it looked like he was able to murk all of them, and he took one of their masks. Now I'm interested to see how he's going to resurface later, because you know he's going to resurface. I don't know if he's going to save Lori, or if he's going to do something to help Angela. My prediction, and I'm going to do a prediction show too, but I'll give you a little sample right now. I think he's going to somehow save Angela to make up for him selling her out. So, and I think they going to patch things up by the end of the series. So, that's one of my predictions. Now, Lori went to see Judd's wife, and she's a great detective. She basically uncovered the whole plot for the most part. I think Lori was a little bit surprised that Judge's wife just admitted the entire plot right away. I think she was taken a little bit aback by that. And I think she was in shock, and that's why she didn't get up when Judge's wife kept pressing the remote control. And she was probably just like, yo, what the hell are you doing? But it ended up being a trap door. But my thing about that is this. I understand initially being shocked, but at some point I would have got up. I was thinking that during the episode. I was like, why are you not getting up? But anyway, Senator King was there, and I like how Lori was like, yo, don't tell me your whole plot. I don't care. I don't care about nothing you talking about, basically. So I kind of like that. And of course, Senator King tells their plot anyway, which I'm glad he did. And basically, he not planning to become president. That's too small. He's planning to become Dr. Manhattan. And that is crazy because, of course, you don't want to have white supremacist groups being Dr. Manhattan, having that type of power. That is scary, and you don't want that to happen under any circumstance. So that must be stopped. Now, then let's talk about Adrian Veidt's scenes. His scenes are always pure fuckery. I mean, it's nothing but fuckery whenever his scenes happen. I mean, another year have passed. It's obvious that they are on a different timeline, and he's on trial for trying to leave. He's not on trial for killing all the, I guess, they clones, and that situation is all weird. You find them in the water and putting them in some type of machine where they grow instantly. I still try and figure out if Lady True did that, if Dr. Manhattan did that. We still don't know. Did he put himself there? It's still a lot of things to be worked out there. But he didn't offer a defense for himself. The only thing he did was do a fart. And it seemed like fart humor is back right now. Especially since Congressman Swalwell fired live on air a few weeks ago. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, look up Congressman fart on air. It's pretty funny. But in general, I don't really find fart humor that funny. But it's whatever. The game warden was acting as a judge, and basically he said you gotta be judged by a jury of your peers, and he brought in a bunch of pigs. Basically comparing Veidt to a pig. I mean, his scenes is always crazy. So eventually it's only 2 more episodes, so we're gonna have to find out what was that D for, because you remember when he was on the moon, it said save me, couldn't see the rest of the word, but the first word started with a D. Was that Dr. Manhattan? Was it save me daughter? I don't know. We will have to find out. Now, let's go to Lady True. Her scenes is kind of weird too, but her daughter, man, her daughter is super weird to me. I always found her daughter to be super awkward, and now it makes sense why she's so awkward, because that's not really her daughter. That's her mother, and a clone version of her mother, and she giving her back her memories, or I shouldn't say her memories, because it's not really her mother, it's a clone. But yeah, that's crazy too, and that's another discussion I want to have. And I understand missing a loved one, but would you really want to clone them, especially if you got to add their memories? So that's kind of crazy. But, I guess I can understand it as well. But that'd be another interesting discussion. And there was literally an elephant in the room with with Angela. I guess that's because that elephant never forgets and they supposed to have a good memory. But that was kind of crazy to me too. She was hooked up to an elephant and that was supposed to get rid of her grandfather nostalgia. And she wanted to talk to her grandpa and never did this episode. But the big reveal is about to come up when Lady True and Angela just up there talking, and basically Lady True was like, let's stop fucking around, and basically got straight to it, said the 7th Cavalry plot, how they plan to kidnap Dr. Manhattan and kill him and basically take his powers. Now, I don't know. That's the one thing I really don't get about this episode. I'm sure they will explain it in the next 2 episodes. How can you kill Dr. Manhattan? Because he could put himself back together. So they're going to have to explain that a little bit more because I don't really understand how that can happen. But I never saw the big twist coming. And I'm sure if you listen to this, y'all already know that Cal ended up becoming, or not becoming, but revealed that Cal was Dr. Manhattan this entire time. Blew my mind. I was supposed to watch Mr. Robot right after this, and I couldn't even do it because my mind was freaking blown. I was just like, oh shoot, and it made sense. All the signs were there. Him being so calm, him being so kind of odd, The signs was there. The way he was talking about death with the children. All the signs were there, and I missed it. I didn't pick up on it until the very end. And then I was like, okay, I see where they're going here. But anyway, Angela ended up hitting him with a hammer, taking whatever it was that was blocking his memory out of his head. She claimed that it was his idea. So next episode look like it's going to be lit. I can't wait to see where they go with this. So I want to see too, because Will got to get brought back into the picture. There's only 2 more episodes left. And my prediction is that Angela's grandfather, Will, is going to work against her. I think he's in on the plot to get Dr. Manhattan, because when him and Lady True was talking, he stated that Angela will hate me in about 3 days. Why would she hate him? Not because of nostalgia, because there was nothing in the nostalgia pills for her to hate him. So I think he's up to something. I'm going to get into that a little bit more in another video. But thanks for listening. Subscribe, share. Definitely trying to grow. Thanks.